Hey folks, walk with me. I saw this post on Reddit, and I thought that I would share it here because it was actually a really cool framing, and it had pieces of some things we've talked about on this playlist before, but I think it went a few steps further, and it was very nice to come across. So this person talks about basically like heading into 2025 and thinking about, taking care of yourself, of your feelings, of your mental state, so on and so forth. And they basically say, your mind is a baby and you need to love and care for and nurture that baby. And these are sort of similar things that we've talked about on the channel before, because there is a teaching from Thich Nhat Hanh that talks about feelings and approaching feelings, thoughts and feelings, in this sort of same way. Sorry if it's really windy. And so we've talked about this idea of a mother going to a baby, in the Thich Nhat Hanh teaching. Where this post goes further, which I thought was really cool, was it was saying essentially just like, so if you're going to treat your mind like a baby, care for it, nurture it, comfort it, you can also think of it like you teach your baby lessons over time, right? You give it opportunities to learn different things. You sort of allow it space to like move freely and try to crawl and walk and learn letters and make sounds and say new words and all of these things. And if it's gonna fall down the stairs, you catch it. And that you can do the same thing with your mind, that you can have this mindset, I guess, but you can have this framing around choosing what it is that you want your mind to learn, what it is that you want it to do and not do, and how you want it to be. And that you can essentially think of raising your mind like a child and teaching it what you want it to know. What this actually makes me think of is this, these things that go around that are like, if you could tell your 15-year-old self 5 things, what would you say? It is sort of that, but it's in a much better, less silly way, I think, which is like, you can decide what it is that you want to focus your mind on. You can decide what it is that you want to raise your mind like, right? Talk about like children raised a certain way. And as long as you think of your mind as a baby and not as a grown-ass adult or something like that, as long as it's a baby, it still has with it that potential, right? We're so gut-wrenched at tragedies happening to children in a way that we are not gut-wrenched. This is just true, I think, in those same tragedies happening to adults. Part of that reason, I think, is because not just like the innocence and the helplessness, but the potential, right? That the child is seen as having sheer and utter potential for anything, whereas an adult is not. An adult is seen as largely already formed and decided as to what they will or will not be. So if you treat your mind as a baby, it then has with it always this capacity for potential and this same idea of vulnerability and innocence, but it has capacity for basically anything, right? You can kind of mold, it sounds that sounds not good, mold a child, but you know what I mean? You can teach a child this, teach them that, and you can decide what it is that is important to teach that child and for them to learn, and ways in which you want to address things with them. And if you think of your mind like that, as opposed to an adult, which is rigid and fixed and has a bunch of things that it can and cannot be, which is not how you would treat a child, I don't think. I don't think that's how you would generally think of a child, as they can be this, they can't be that. I mean, it's pretty amazing. It's pretty awesome. It was a pretty awesome post. And I'm adding some of my own stuff onto it with the whole, like, what would you tell your 15-year-old self and that sort of thing. But I think that what they posted was building on this sort of idea that Thich Nhat Hanh had around nurturing your thoughts and feelings like they're children, like a crying baby. And I'm building off of this post as well. But I think it's an awesome idea, to be honest. And I think that it won't be a magic bullet. I don't expect it to be oh, I heard this thing, I'm going to try it, it's going to work. You're going to have to try it and retry it and refocus on it and start back at the beginning and try again. But that's the real work of the things that really work. But I thought I'd share that if that resonates with anyone. If you want to build off of it as well, then you have an opportunity to do that. All right, folks. Well, if you watched or walked this far, I certainly appreciate it. And as always, I will see you in the next video.